Okay, before we get too far ahead, one thing we definitely need to talk about is MIDI mapping. MIDI mapping is the process of taking one of your controllers, a knob, a fader, or a button, and mapping it to a Control on Live's interface. So, for example, we got our drums here, right? So, first thing we need to do, we're gonna put an effect on there and MIDI map it to some of these controls here. So, first thing you gotta make sure though is when you go into Live's preferences, go under the MIDI tab here and take a look at your controller. Right here I have the APC 40. And if you look here, this remote button, you're going to want to make sure that's enabled. And if you're unsure of what these things do, I recommend taking a look at the info screen down here. It'll give you an update. Every time you hover over anything in Live, it will tell you what that does, which is really quite amazing and super helpful. But we want to make sure that the remote is clicked on the input. That's very important. So once you have that, you can now go into MIDI mapping mode by either clicking up here or Apple M or Command M. And everything that you can MIDI map turns purple. So let's get out of there quick. I'm going to find myself, we'll do an auto filter. Drop it right on my drum track. Okay, so now when I play my beat here, I could of course move this around by hand, but that's no fun. We want to set up a controller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command M. I'm going to select the parameter that I want to MIDI map, and I'm simply just going to turn the knob here. And I'll select another one, and I'll turn another knob. Now I'll get out of MIDI mapping here, and you'll notice when I turn the knob, this effect moves. And then when I turn this one, so does this parameter, which is super handy. This is really how you start playing live, is by MIDI mapping things and setting up the controls the way you want to. Something you should know is that you can also set up the range. Like right here now, you'll notice this window opened on the left here. This is every MIDI map I have in my live set, and there are quite a few. If I click on the parameter that I want to adjust, it will be highlighted here. And you can tell where it is by looking under this path here. And we'll just expand that out. And it says it's drum racks. This is my drum racks, my auto filter on my drum channel here. So something you can do that is very, very useful to do is get to know this minimum and maximum. So this sets the range of your MIDI controller. I can have it so that maybe I don't want to go all the way down to 26 hertz on my auto filter. Maybe I only want to go to like up close to 300. So I'm going to move that there, and I'm going to come out of MIDI mapping. And now when I turn my knob, the lowest I can go is just under 300 hertz there. So what's nice about that, again, when you're in the heat of the moment, a live show, you're going to be turning these knobs, you got all this energy. You don't want to accidentally go too far and kind of totally kill your drums. You want to maybe just make them kind of muted. So by changing the range, you can prevent, any kind of like wild turns in the heat of the moment, and you can adjust the range that the knobs will cover. So again, Command M opens MIDI mapping. Any parameter you want to put on there, you just click, then you go to the knob, which will go here, and then we'll go to this knob here, the rate, and I'll come out of here, and what I can do now is adjust my LFO rate. So now, just for a few turns of knobs, I've got this kind of neat back and forth filtering effect. Maybe I don't want my rate to go quite that fast or quite this slow. So again, what you can do is go Command M, click on that parameter, and just adjust the minimum and the maximum of those. So now when we click here, notice I'm only going, when I turn my knob all the way to the left, I'm only going to 0.17 hertz, and when I go all the way to the right, I'm only going to 4.7, just as I said there. So that's how you MIDI map. You can MIDI map anything in live that turns purple, which is quite amazing. It's almost every single parameter definitely a wonderful feature and key to live performance with Ableton Live.